For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Come on! Wait up!
Is everyone ready to play?
I think the people involved, you get to meet a lot of people in football, and that's just one of the great things. Not only is the sport great, but the people involved. So fellow referees, players, coaches, even fans. I love officiating because it keeps me involved in football. I was a player, but I don't reckon I could cut it out there anymore, at least at any decent level. But as a referee, I get to be involved in higher levels of football. Keeps me involved, keeps me fit, and is great fun. I think I have a moment of this is why I do this every week. It's always good fun to get out there, and there are tough moments, but being resilient and succeeding, even just in the little things throughout a match. I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn, and as a referee you surely come across a lot of them, and I certainly have. I reckon give it a go. You will face challenges, but that's a part of it, and I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn.
At ServiceFM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need ServiceFM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide, Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local and only on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Ramsey Park for this semi-final leg one in the NPL final series presented by ServiceFM. It is great to have your company on this wonderful afternoon in terms of weather. The sun is out, there's a nice cool breeze here up in the north of Adelaide, and we're delighted to bring you this coverage of this first leg. I'm Seb O'Neill, your lead commentator for this afternoon, joined alongside Simon Jimenez. Simon, it's great to have your company as well. Again, I'll repeat it because it is such a nice day today.
Yeah, almost unexpectedly. So it certainly wasn't this warm and sunny last week, so we're loving it. The football gods are liking us at finals time.
Absolutely. Two legs, very intriguing in their way between these two sides in Playford and Adelaide City. Already an historic finals run for Playford. They'd never gotten past the first round of finals prior to last week in the First Division, prior to 1999 and 2002. But they play a second game in finals in a current final series for the first time ever. And a second ever match at home in the final series in the First Division 2, Simon, at a great venue too.
Yeah, well, I think they should be pretty proud of the progress that they've shown. And we had a bit of a chat to a couple of staff at Playford before, and they said it's part of the way they've been trying to approach things. Rather than, some clubs come up, they end up yo-yoing between NPL and State League 1. But Playford, they came up at the end of 2024, bolstered their ranks, just missed out on finals last year, but looked really strong, especially the early parts of this season, and now they're a factor in finals. And the way the finals fixture has panned out for the two semis, we got obviously Metro Stars and West Torrens Bacala kick off their two-leg semi-final. I think the stylistic matchup of those two teams, both playing at home on artificial as well, and for this one, Playford and Adelaide City, I think this is a really fascinating one again. And once more on the same sort of pitch, both on grass here in Oakton as well. So, this is just the first leg of it, but I think it makes for a very fascinating finals run, and it's anyone's. It could be anyone that ends up playing on grand final day a couple of weeks from now.
Absolutely. It's a huge weekend across the board here for football in South Australia. We had the first leg of the State League 2, one of the semi-finals between Modbury and Olympic, where Modbury defeated Olympic away from home 4-0. We've got this game now here, also at Marden Sports Complex. Blue Eagles are facing the Premiers, Adelaide Croatia Raiders, and the WNPL preliminary final between West Adelaide and West Torrens Bacala at 3 p.m. to decide who goes into their grand final, as well as you mentioned previously, Simon, Metro versus Bacala in the other semi-final in the NPL. But we see both sets of players walk out onto the field of play here at Ramsey Park, both in their traditional home jerseys, led out by our refereeing staff. And a good crowd having built in for this one as well, Simon. Good to see.
Yeah, it is. Even over the last few weeks, it's been good to see a nice crowd out. I was at Olympic last night and the week before as well. They had a really good crowd. You were here last week too, and you mentioned another good crowd. And as soon as the sun pokes its head out, everyone was to go and absorb some vitamin D and start their suntan early.
Absolutely, as the players do just that. We'll go through the starting lineup, starting with the home side of Playford City. Some huge news ahead of kickoff. Luke Osby out with injury and out for the rest of the season. So in comes a replacement in Luke Schoen in the goal. The Cumberland United goalkeeper, of course, played in the cup final halfway through this season. He will join them for the final series, at least these next two matches. Also changing as well, Ethan Allgate coming in for the injured Tyson Harriman, having done his hamstring last week. The rest of the lineup is as follows. The back five of Cameron Harris, Ethan Allgate, Ben Woolard, Sean Harvey and Braden French. The midfield of Xavier Pratt, Patrick McGregor, Isaac Mullen, and up front Christos Penendis, the captain, with Dan Ryan scoring that perler of a goal last week against FK Beograd. See the two captains there, led up with our refereeing staff. In the middle, Curtis Wordsworth in his 432nd senior match, assisted by Thomas Temby and Thomas Gilchrist, with Daniel Cook as the fourth official, as captains Penendis and Karachia head in for the coin toss. We'll go through the Adelaide City starting lineup. Of course, they've not played for a week. Last game was against FK Beograd in round 22, so just the one change with Yared Abichu returning after not having played since round 19. He comes in to the back line and Fergus Lynch drops down to the bench. The rest of the lineup, of course, John Hall in goal looking for an 11th clean sheet of the season. The back line consisting of Oliver Weston, Bailey O'Neill, Bradley Corbo and Yared Abichu. The midfield of Laurie Latanzio, Daniel Brissan, Patrick Caraccia and Asad Kusumovic. And up front, Dominic Costanzo and Yuki Kitano. Their top goal scorer this season. I said it as we were going through the lineup, Simon. The big news, Luke Osby out. A different Luke in Luke Schoen. I'm told by the coach himself, Ben Moore nearly had to play himself in goals this afternoon is what it came down to nearly in the end. But they have gotten a replacement, a State League 1 goalkeeper as well. We saw in their cup run and in the State League 1 season only kept the one clean sheet against Eastern United across his 7 matches. But Luke Osby, after such a strong performance last week, coming off second best just as we're about to get this underway.
Yeah, we were a little bit unsure if that was some sort of error that his name ended up on the team sheet, if somehow they got their Lukes interchanged without knowing the back end of the dribble system. I was thinking, is that something that's possible? But once we realised that the team sheet hadn't refreshed, we did get confirmation. So, yeah, a big development for Playford.
Adelaide City get us underway with kickoff, and Dom Costanzo uncharacteristically losing it immediately from kickoff, but he's regained it back just as quickly as we get started for, well, I'd normally say the next 90 minutes of football, but really it's 3 hours over the next 2 weeks as Adelaide City come forward with the ball here. It's cleared away by Braden French as Yared Abichu returning from injury and getting a first real boot on the ball there over the main stand here.
Trying to mark his return with a little bit of presence, but you mentioned at the start the changes to starting lineups. It's a little bit interesting. Playford, you can argue, coming in a little bit weaker with the change to the keeper and with Tyson Harriman, who I think has been brilliant at centre-back for them this year. And on the defensive side of things for Adelaide City, Yared Abitu coming in. So they sort of go in opposite directions with their starting 11s.
O'Neill now cleared long by Oliver Weston, even as one of the youngest, if not the youngest player in the side. Oliver Weston probably within their top 3 consistent performers all season at left back after having come through the club at juniors. Just so impressive in that position. Scored his only league goal in the derby, of course, as well at Kilburn against West Adelaide.
Yeah, fair to say. I think overall Adelaide City have been really impressive defensively. You only have to look at how the ladder ended up. I think at times they were quite achievers, because in commentating a few of their games, there were times where I wasn't, let's say, they didn't look stylistically like a real standout, but just ended up getting results, getting big results against big teams. And by the end of the season, they found themselves on top, and that's what matters most.
Abichu just debating with the option of whether or not to put a ball in. He'll give it a go now, but when he comes off of a defender, pulls right back to the man with the armband for Adelaide City and Patrick Caraccia. Weston. Dom Costanzo tries to put it in over the top for Yuki Kitano. He gets the touchdown, but he was offside, which, interestingly enough, is a stat in which he leads in the league this season. Yuki Kitano is the most offside player.
And I think he knew it on that occasion, because that touch not terribly convincing. I think the whistle came quickly from the centre, but yeah, it's an interesting stat that you pulled there.
Luke Schoen with a first real kick of the football here. The big news, if you are just joining us that little bit late, Luke Osby out and Cumberland goalkeeper Luke Schoen in for Playford for these 2 legs, of course, barring he doesn't get injured himself.
Not sure if you should be putting that out into the universe. You need to touch wood and do it quickly.
McGregor. Equal with Isaac Mullen after that goal last week for the top goal scorer, but their leading goal scorer during the regular season, Patrick McGregor, the former Modbury and Adelaide United's midfielder, whose reserves just played before this game here against Campbelltown. A lot of former Adelaide United senior and youth players amongst these squads today. Yared Abichu, one of them. 2 and offside Yuki Kitano. This is the 31st First Division League meeting between these two sides, in which Adelaide City have held the advantage with 19 wins, 4 draws and just the 7 losses. As this throw-in comes in from Braden French, flicked on by Christos Penendis. And then again, it's headed away. Finds it as far as Yuki Kitano, who's all up there by himself. Now finds Costanzo on the left wing. He'll look to switch sides with the football, as there is Asad Kasumovic chasing it down up against Ethan Allgate. Kasumovic. Allgate still just shielding the ball off of him, and he wins a goal kick. They've met the 4 times since Playford have come up in 2024. But the 2 results here were an Adelaide City 4-3 win, which you covered a year or so ago, and then the 0-0 earlier this season. Playford not having actually beaten Adelaide City here at Ramsay Park since 2003 in the First Division.
Really impressed with your memory for that 4-3 one. I almost forgot about that one, but I do remember it now. A lot of late drama in that one. I think Adelaide City reclaimed the lead back very, very late.
It was 2 goals to get the equaliser through Matthew Dorber and then Luca Ullman in the 97th minute to secure all 3 points then in round 4.
They had the green away strip that day too.
For traditional sake, I'm happy both sides are in their home kits this afternoon. Looks better.
Well, does it count as the home kit, the all-black one of Adelaide City?
Is it not?
It's not the usual black and white.
Oh, yeah. You caught me there. Well, it's not a what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's not an outlandish colour.
Yeah.
It's more traditional in terms of the colours. As City get forward here across the face of goal, and it's a tap-in for Luis Laurie Latanzio. His 5th of the campaign. And Adelaide City go 1-0 up within 7 minutes of this first leg.
Well, dominant for the opening stages, and in the end it was there for the taking, so a very strong start from Adelaide City. But in terms of general play, they have been dominating for all of these first few minutes, so now Playford have to respond.
Scored against Campbelltown a few weeks back in that 4-0 win, did Laurie Latanzio. His 10th goal contribution of the season as well, 5 goals, 5 assists for the winger, who was their top goal scorer last season. Now Playford in a position in which last week they didn't find themselves too familiar with being behind a goal. It's a side that has been defensively so strong across their past 23 league matches, only very so often losing by a goal. As Penendis fires in a shot, but it's that forward line now that needs to really contribute now, rather than the back line as we saw last week, doing a lot of hard work.
Well, I was just thinking, I don't want to spell doom too early for Playford City, but we said at the start of the broadcast, usual keeper out and a real leader in Luke Osby, the fact that Tyson Harriman, who's really shown his quality, the fact that 2 essential pieces of the defensive puzzle are missing. It does seem like it's going to be a challenge, but just to go back to your point, it's really on the shoulders of the attacking contingent to reduce this deficit and put themselves back on equal terms. Of course, it's a long 2 legs, though, isn't it? As you said, the 3 hours worth that we're going to have played over the next 2 weeks.
Here's Xavier Pratt. Ball is wide. Now back with the Kiwi. He puts a ball on at the back post, but it is sailing wide of John Hall's goal. Arguably, alongside it, what would have been Luke Osby, we would have had the 2 best keepers along this season.
On commentary last week, I was singing the praises of Daniel Margush. 2 very good keepers, but just to reference another game, and neither of these two teams, I think he's a pretty hard keeper to beat. I think his efforts are probably, he's probably won a lot of points for Croydon off his own back. I think
last week he helped it to stay at only 2-0.
Yep.
Penendis. Now Xavier Pratt just flicking it out towards Braden French, but he's offside.
To your point, though, I'd happily have either John Hall or Luke Osby. Absolutely.
John Hall with 6 hours and 25 minutes without conceding in a row as of right now. Well, as of right now would be 35 minutes and 6 hours.
That's impressive, but not as impressive as your stat taking, Seb.
Throw in on the far side for Playford. And the crowd has built that just a little bit more as kickoff has started as well. Here's Costanzo. Looking over the top for Catano, who is all up there by himself. Now getting the option very wide in Laurie Latanzio. Might find him with this switch ball here in for Laurie Latanzio. French getting enough of a touch initially. Will be a corner in which Luke Schoen will have to manage. Has that big game experience, of course, with the cup final. Didn't play in their national round game against Heidelberg, though.
That approach looked a little bit familiar for Adelaide City, coming in from the right-hand side, and Laurie Latanzio just sneaking in just beyond the back post, but the corner's the result that they get on this occasion.
They will have seen what Modbury did last night in State League 1. They'll want to do the same Adelaide City in this first leg as that one comes to the back post, but headed over by Yuki Catano.
It was interesting following that Modbury game last night because obviously that huge 4-0 victory away from home, still ahead of the return leg. It's such a big advantage, but yeah, it does become a little bit tricky to get up for that second part of it. You hope that there's so much damage done that the other team can't recover from it, but again, there is a little bit of a mental battle when you get back for the second leg. If you do take a convincing win, that you do have to back it up. We have seen teams just maybe get a little bit ahead of themselves and squander that, and of course all the other team has to do is equalise the efforts, and they get the opportunity to maybe snatch a win in 125 minutes during the second leg, or if it ends up being even more heartbreaking in pens.
We've only had this final series with the 2 legs since 2023, but only once in the NPL has a team completely overcome a first leg deficit to make the grand final, being Modbury versus Metro back in 2023. As this one comes in, it's enough of a header for Penendis to initially look like it was going to be a corner, but it's well done by Pratt on the first and the second go to take it past. Goes long upfield. McGregor chesting it on, looking for Dan Ryan, but will be swept up by Corbo. Back to John Hall. Yeah, just on that start I said, as there's Penendis who's gone down, but John Hall quick to pick it right back up. That 2023 match, the first leg, Modbury Jets at home, lost 3-2 to Metro Stars, and in the second leg beat Metro Stars 3-0 to qualify for the grand final, which was that one against Adelaide United. The only other time it's happened across NPL or State League 1 was Playford in 2024 against Blue Eagles over those 2 legs, where they came back here and wanted an extra time. But only the once in the first division has a side completely lost the first leg, but then come back to win in the second leg to win the whole tie. And you do expect these first legs more often than not to be fairly cagey affairs.
Well, it hasn't looked terribly cagey so far, to be honest.
No.
And, you could put that down to that very early one score by Adelaide City, and now it's up to Playford to respond. And the temperature of this game already quite high, so it makes for good watching.
Sean Harvey. Bit loose back towards him, and his pass will go out of play. Was the captain of the 2013-14 Adelaide United Youth League side, consisting of a certain John Hall, in which he was the captain of. Other players in that squad, the likes of Dion Kirk, Daniel Margush, Nikola Miliusnic, Jordan O'Doherty, of course, of Campbelltown, Lachlan Barr of Metro, Brian Kiddo of current Adelaide United in the A-League. Stack side that finished fourth in the Youth League that season, and Anthony Costa finishing top goal scorer for the Reds in that year. And that one's nearly fallen all the way through, as there was just a few little touches which nearly put it right in the path of Asad Kasumovic. Weston. Now, Laurie Latanzio. Right in that less grassy patches. Here's Gaetano. Looked to thunder it towards goal, but looks like the flag went up anyway, and it wouldn't have counted. Hear the drums out from the local support here in Edinburgh North. Laurie Latanzio nearly catching Braden French, but it will be a throw the way of Playford City. Penendis flicking it on for Xavier Pratt, has Dan Ryan to his right and will use that option. Unable to get past Jared Abichu. Stuck in the corner, Abichu getting it forward to Laurie Latanzio. Challenge by Pratt is an important one. Now French getting past one, and then another towards the byline, looking for a cutback, but it is cut out by Bailey O'Neill. Penendis, though, back to win it. Ryan claiming to have been fouled, but nothing given, and it will be a goal kick, and perhaps a first big of possession in that final third for Playford, trying to make something going forward.
Seems like they've been building it to it, though. Just since that goal, they've, as we said, tried to lift the intensity a little bit. And you mentioned before that in a two-legger, you'd usually expect it to be quite a cagey affair in the early stages. And I've been at games here at Playford too, where I think Playford try to control the game, and I think there's times where they aren't terribly offensive, especially with that formation with the five at the back. But it's a very different look at the moment, I've got to say.
Ball comes in, only across the goal of Luke Shones.
Just to finish that thought, one game I can think of was one against FK Beergrad. Would have been around 17 or thereabouts, Seb?
16.
16, well, close. Just one goal in that particular game that FK Beergrad went up. Then after that, looked like it wasn't until really late that Playford really tried to pursue that getting that goal back. But it was one that sort of, it seemed quite cagey and wasn't overly... not to be negative, but it wasn't the most overly entertaining game. But the way Playford are playing at the moment, they're absolutely going after Adelaide City.
French trying to get the better of Oliver Weston, but the youngster able to hold him off. Kasumovic with a lovely turn, and then a ball over the top, Shone having to come out quickly. And for him, the ball rolling in his favour as he throws it right back out to Ethan Allgate. News as well in State League 1, where Adelaide Croatia Raiders have gone up 1-0 at Martin Sports Complex against Adelaide Blue Eagles, which would be great news to the ears of the Modbury Jets. Of course, if Croatia Raiders do win those two legs and make the grand final, as long as Modbury can hold on to their 4-0 scoreline next week, they'll be promoted before even making the grand final.
Well, they do still have to get through that second leg, of course, but... I did hear a stat last night about, I think it was the last 3 or 4 grand finals it was already decided what teams were going up.
That flick just goes right back to Braden French. McGregor, all too familiar from hitting it from distance. Ben Woolard. That wide with Harris. Now McGregor again, looking to try and shape it up from distance.
Just to revisit a thought I just said about the teams participating in the State League 1 grand final in the recent years, when it has been already determined ahead of kickoff of that game who will be going up. It was, of course, in the end of 2024 when Playford played West Torrens Bacala. They both knew before the grand final was played that Playford went on to win That'd both be going up. And look at that, those two sides both participating in semi-finals and a real chance this year.
Yeah. 2023 was Para Hills and Croatia Raiders, who were both already promoted, and then 24 was Playford Burkharren, and last year was West Adelaide Sturt, all, of course, promoted by the time that grand final day came around.
We still had some tight, thrilling affairs in those games, even though the outcome was already decided in some ways. That's a conversation I know we've had before.
I was going to say that State League 1 final in 23 with Adelaide Croatia Raiders and Para Hills Knights was a phenomenal match, right down to the wire. Riley Stam having a great match that day. Of course, now with West Adelaide having an outstanding season himself.
Well, as much as the promotion to the RAA NPLSA is the big ticket item, you know, these players are competitive. They want to win everything.
French swings the ball in to the centre. It is cleared, though, right at the spot. French back down with Pratt just being hassled. Xavier Pratt might look for it on his left. Comes back out on the edge of the box for Mullen. Adelaide City right back on a counter-attack. Catano switching it across field towards Kasumovic. Has Costanzo and Laurie Latanzio as options. Tries to find Laurie Latanzio. Mullen far back from his regular midfield spot to try and clean up at the back. Ryan. A few half shouts of handball, but I think it just came off his shoulder.
Just almost saw an Adelaide City special there. They are absolutely deadly on the counter-attack. I recall one game a little bit earlier this year at TK Shutter Reserve where I thought Metro at home were dominating that game, but just before half-time, Adelaide City scored and was off the counter-attack as well as one off the spot too. So even when you get passages where the game might be favouring one particular team, and I think over the last 5 minutes or so, Playford have been holding a lot of the momentum. As soon as Adelaide City win the ball, they're just able to bounce back so quickly and very efficient on the counter-attack. So you really can't be too comfortable, even if you are holding a lot of possession in dangerous places against them.
Playford trying to get forward. That attack breaks down. That one's over the top down the wing, but it will be cleaned up well enough by Allgate. You mentioned that a moment ago. These are the two sides who are, in Playford's case, they're the 9th least passing side on average across the regular season, and the 10th least possession keeping side across the league. Adelaide City, 10th for passes, 9th for possession.
Well, it's nice to know I wasn't making that up. My eyes haven't deceived me. I mean, it's all about what's effective, though, and, you know, given how these two teams have finished, and particularly Adelaide City's performance.
McGregor, unable to get past. Oh, get a helping hand by Sean Harvey to put it back up. With the ball at his feet again. Back into the centre. Ryan tries to put it through for Penendez. Had a nice touchdown initially. Ryan hitting it first time. That's a good block. And again, here's that all-too-familiar Adelaide City counter-attack. Costanzo taking the slow approach initially for trying to unleash Laurie Latanzio. Puts in a ball. Costanzo was the option in the middle, but he was behind, I think, about 3 Playford defenders.
3 or even more. The delivery from Laurie Latanzio maybe looked a little bit tired, to be honest, as well. And I wonder what these players will look like at about the 70th minute today under the sun that's been beaming more so than it has been for the past few months.
We're already a quarter of the way through today and an 1/8 of the way through this tie.
Breaking it down to 8s now,
I reckon so. If we've got these two legs amongst us, might as well make the most of it.
Just when Adelaide City were building up that counter-attack, it was just seeing Dom Costanzo in the centre of the pitch there, just using his skill. He beat Mullen and was just able to wait for those reinforcements.
Penendez, Braden French looking to go for a second week in the row in terms of goals. Scored the first last week against FK Beograd. before Mullen and Ryan finishing off that affair.
Yuki Kitano may have got a stray limb or something. It's just his eye seems to be annoying him a little bit.
A fourth ever First Division Finals game for Playford. A 53rd for Adelaide City this afternoon. Trying to look for French on the overlap, but ball was just behind him. Throw in for Oliver Weston and Adelaide City. Of course, don't forget, chat to a local who backs you and your team. It's better to be a member with RAA, and we thank our partner, ServiceFM, official presenting partner of the final series. And a reminder as well that the applications are open for the Football SA Variety Football Scholarship Program, delivered in partnership with Variety. Round 1 applications closed on 30th of September. To learn more or apply, visit the Football South Australia website. Laurie Latanzio with that 7th minute goal. One of the easier finishes he'll get this season, as Oliver Weston gets booked for time wasting, it would seem there. Curtis Wordsworth very quickly stamping out and making sure we get this game on as quickly and as much as possible. That is a theme, I think, in world football at the moment, is playing football, funny enough. Making sure that players don't take away any seconds or minutes, whether that be with time wasting or injuries or whatever it may be. And it is what I think the general public want to see as well, is as much football being played in the football match as possible.
Well, certainly, and having conversations with people around the World Cup too, when they were talking about things like hydration breaks. I think from a neutral perspective, people just want to see the game continue.
Costanzo, it's given to him there. Was trying to play through Catano, but that was well cut out. Just a bit shaky at times, play for this afternoon. A few wayward passes and a few giveaways. Pratt's ball, another one there. Harvey just awaiting to play the correct ball. Mullen. Ryan. The former FKB grad player, scoring against his former side last week. That one's been given up. Now Brissan for Adelaide City. Poked for Catano on the right. Catano perhaps was looking to hit it on his left from the outside of the box, but wasn't to be. Xavier Pratt. Ryan, that pass you thought maybe it was just that bit too short, and it caught Xavier Pratt. This one over the top. Braden French doing a lot of work as a fullback this afternoon already. Big challenge coming in from Penendez. Doesn't win the throw-in, though.
Does win a slight applause. I think they enjoy that big slide from the big man.
Costanzo looks and finds the switch to Kasumovic. Catano on the run. Times it well, Catano. As you see it take the bobble in that little dirt patch in Luke Jones' 6-yard box. It will be a goal kick.
It was interesting watching Playford's approach just a moment ago. To me, it looks a little bit un-Playford-like at times. There was a bit of a short passing passage through the middle. I mentioned before, only seen them at home a handful of times, but I've just noticed them usually favouring going a little bit more direct, but I wonder if the change is maybe a reaction to conceding early, that first one, or if it was something that they planned to do ahead of this game against Adelaide City.
Foul there. It's not even the earliest goal they've conceded all season. The earliest, so early, it came in round 1, 3 minutes in, courtesy of Luka Blažević against Adelaide United. Last time they conceded in the 7th minute was against Para Hills in that 8-1. Willard. Now Allgate came into the starting 11 this afternoon in place of Tyson Harriman. Both former Para Hills players, Harriman of Knights and Allgate of United. In the week, of course, in which we welcome 2 more Para Hills sides to the FSA leagues in Para Hills West and East into the State League 2 for 2027, as well as Teachery Gully and Sturt Marion Thunder. McGregor to Mullen, another former Para Hills Knights player. Harvey under pressure from Costanzo. Wasn't able to keep that one in play. Another update from Martin Sports Complex. 2-0 Adelaide Croatia Raiders in the first leg there. So a huge advantage already. They're at about the half-hour mark there as well in the east of Adelaide.
It's interesting, especially with the context of it was those, or I guess the 2 teams leading in the respective semi ties. It was Raiders and Modbury that both went down at the end of last year, so looking to make it a quick down and back up again.
Foul there, and a free kick for Adelaide City. The other concurrent match across the grounds between West Adelaide and West Torrens Burkalla in that WMPL preliminary final, still at 0-0, just over half an hour in. One of those 2 sides to face Salisbury Inter at 7:30 p.m. next Friday night at ServiceFM Stadium, regardless of whether it be West Adelaide or Burkalla. Should be a great spectacle that night. A standalone fixture too for the WNPL Grand Final. Allgates to McGregor. Ryan finds McGregor in a bit of free space as he hits it from distance. It was a decent effort that did present itself, but not on target from Patrick McGregor, as we have seen across his previous goals this season.
You mentioned that stat earlier on about these 2 sides. I can't remember exactly what the stat was off the top of my head, but not being the most possession having sides.
2 at the least.
But I'm enjoying watching Playford as a possession team at the moment, I've got to say.
If you're looking at these stats at face value, as I said, they're 9th for passes, 10th for possession, 2nd for passes towards the final third, and 2nd for progressive passes, 3rd for crosses. So they don't like having the ball, and if they do, they get it as far up the field as possible, if you're looking at the stats that way.
Again, it does check out. It's nice to know we've been paying attention. Just looking to the bench for Playford as well. Tavares, Shota Babasaki as well. So as they try to pursue this deficit, even if it does go to half-time that way, they've got some attacking options to come off the bench too if needed.
Throw in on this close side right in front of us here, right in front of Antonis Pagonis, who I'm sure is getting a lovely photo right now. Willard. That switch ball is intercepted. I think it's Corbo. Kostumovic will get it back here. Going right towards the byline, looking for it back for Costanzo. Big block there. Header back in by Catano. But once again, it's the Playford defence holding and letting in as little as possible in terms of goals or shots on goal.
Once again, Adelaide City doing what they do best. Winning it high, picking their pocket, and then just super efficient with making opportunities when they do so. So for all the work that Playford are doing, holding possession, just giving him real nervous moments. However few but they might be at times.
John Hall throwing it back out to O'Neill. Under pressure from Dan Ryan, and Xavier Pratt there too, just to continue that on. O'Neill just finding himself a bit caught, plays the ball out, and it's given right back. Will be a goal kick though to relieve them of said pressure as we head into the final 10 minutes of the half. Another good challenge in there. As Adelaide City do have a player down.
I believe it's Karachia.
So a slight stoppage in play.
Trainers finally come on. I was just thinking as that yellow card was shown a little bit earlier from Oliver Weston for wasting time on the near side. I'm not suggesting that's what Patrick Karachia is doing here, but it is often a tactic that's taken, but he's receiving some treatment now and having a quick drink. In fact, bottles are flying everywhere.
Yeah, we are in the shade where we're currently sat at, but in that sun, when you are out there, it is coming down pretty well, and more so than I think we're used to as of lately here in Adelaide.
Yeah, I think then we're used to is a key thing, because I think it is still only a maximum of 20 degrees. It's hardly a
right now it's 19. It's 19 currently.
At one point, I did see all the players for Adelaide City at one point. It was almost on cue. It was after I mentioned Yuki Kitano mucking around with his eye. And it seemed all the Adelaide City players on the near side all at the same time lifted up their shirts to wipe the sweat off. So that'll be... the salty sweat in the eyes might be a little bit of a factor late with this balmy 20-degree day.
This is the 13th home match in the league season for Playford. From the previous 12, it's 7 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses, 26 goals scored at home, and now 14 conceded. Adelaide City, this of course their 12th with 6 wins, 3 draws, and their only 2 losses of the season coming away from home. Which is just something that I'm not sure if the players will know of, but some supporters might just have in the back of their mind, that they know how strong Adelaide City have been at home, in the fact that they haven't lost at home since late last year against Adelaide Comets, including the Cup.
Wow.
Over a year since they have lost at Adelaide City Park. And they look to win here at Ramsey Park as this one slips through. And it's found by Asad Kasimovic. Number 8 for the number 47. Rejoining Adelaide City this year from Oakley Cannons. Makes it 2-0 in the first leg away from home from Adelaide City. And a very good start for this 2 matches for Adelaide City in search of another championship. But Playford City at home, now 2-0 down.
I was thinking overall it was, in terms of general play, a decent performance from Playford, but obviously they conceded that one early. That was something that they had to respond to, but it'll definitely change the mood going in half-time, having conceded that second one late. They've shown decent output into trying to reduce this deficit, and they'll just have to put the pedal to it even more.
French's crosses, Benitez finds the header! And the captain with an immediate reply to make it 2-1. And all of a sudden they've come in flying and puts this tie a bit more back in the balance.
I mentioned the mood shifting going into half-time. I think it's just shifted again. It certainly has for the crowd behind us. They absolutely love that. So it can happen that quickly.
I had a stat initially I was going to say. It's the first time that Playford have conceded 2 at home since round 13. It's only the third time all season in round 13 and round 1 against Adelaide United. But as I mentioned previously as well, John Hall has now finally conceded a goal after 6.5 hours of football.
I want to go back to another stat that you mentioned earlier about Adelaide City not losing at home in a little bit more than the year. Just thinking the semi-final series, the 2-legger last year against Croydon.
Regular season fixtures.
Okay, I got you.
Is what I'm counting as that.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to catch you out there, but I was just remembering that one.
I forgot to specify that as well.
Some late season drama. Of course, they only missed out by a whisker at the end of last season when Croydon ended up defeating them at Oakton.
And that was a draw anyway, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I think it was a draw.
Croydon were the team that went on to win.
Cross comes in from the free kick, falls to Christos Penendis again. Might get a second go at it. Penendis right towards John Hall. Yeah, it was 0-0 in the second leg away from home. So even including that game, if you're not including in regular time, in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
to specify that one.
I'm with you.
Even then, still, if you're counting that as a full loss, the one loss in over a year still isn't that bad either.
To the eventual winners of the whole competition at the end of the last year too. So it's always a bit of a roll of the dice when it gets to pens anyway.
Good sign so far. I think, as we said, first legs, you normally expect them to perhaps be a 0-0 or a 1-0, very close affair, but we've gotten goals this afternoon, which wasn't to be said the last time they met here in round 10, where it was a 0-0 draw. And Playford look forward to get an equaliser before half-time. French with the outside of the boots. Thank you very much. They've got a taste for it, Playford, with not long left until half-time, trying to capitalise on this current momentum.
It does seem they've got the wind at their back at the moment. That ball just didn't quite curl in the way you'd expect it to when it just glances the outer edge of the boot, but giving them a couple of testy moments late in this half. Playford, there's still a few minutes to go, so who knows? We might see a swing.
Mullen has been so important for Playford over these past few years, including their now second consecutive year in the First Division. Their top goal scorer of last year. Brisson is dispossessed, and now Penendis. Costanzo comes in with a sliding challenge at late, although Penendis, no foul on the captain, and Adelaide City move back forward through Luis Lori Latanzio. Has Costanzo to his left. Woolard coming out quickly and clearing as far as possible. This pace picking up very nicely.
Well, it's probably a suitable time to give you a bit of a confession. Going into this game, first leg, knowing how defensive these teams can be at times, I was wondering if it was going to be a bit of a slow start, but 3 goals. Playford reducing the deficit late in the half, and at the moment it's just really exciting. Either team could hit the back of the net and just change the dynamics at this early stage. What a game we have on our hands.
Third year in a row which Adelaide City have been a part of these 2-leg semi-finals, and neither of them have they come out on the correct end of. 24 losing 2-0 on aggregate to Metro Stars, and then of course, as we mentioned last year, losing to Croydon 1-1 on aggregate and then 3-2 on penalties at Adelaide City Park last year. And again, Playford with really nothing to lose. It's a big milestone, full stop this season. Highest ever finish, furthest they've ever gone in a final series. Anything more is just the cherry on top. Abichu. Back to John Hall. Latanzio to Costanzo, who is offside. Will be the free kick. It's half-time at Martin Sports Complex between Blue Eagles and Croatia Raiders. The away side 2-0 up there as we head into added time here. It has been a very entertaining first half, though, Simon. The first quarter, if you will, if we're going to continue this analogy on for the next 2 weeks. That one cleared right towards Braden French. Looks to go inside. He'll retrieve it back from the deflection. Mullen to McGregor. Abichu in with the leg. And then the boot away from Karachia. The target the first time in, that second time nowhere near where it was intended.
Real panic moment there for Adelaide City, which is a little bit uncharacteristic, I've got to say. Work rates, you shouted out Braden French before. He's one player that has absolutely worked his butt off in the first quarter, as we've been saying.
Over the top. Falls to McGregor. Mullen leaving it for him. Half-time as well in that WNPL final between West Adelaide and West Torrens Burkalla. The premiers of that league facing off against Burkalla, who defeated Campbelltown in that elimination final last week.
That's a fascinating one, isn't it, too? That situation with West Adelaide after falling short last week, and now they have to get that, cinch that win in the second half to secure the grand final spot, which they'll be hoping for and expecting after the season that they had, the last few seasons that they've had.
And without their top goal scorer as well, with Nini Amada now over in Germany's second tier. John Hall already into the 3rd minute of added time as that one pins balls between two heads and gets it to Dom Costanzo. Trying to put it through. Shown. He's done enough there. Overall, hasn't had too much to do. Luke Schoen in his first outing in a Playford shirt.
Well, he has had to retrieve the ball a couple of times from the back of the net, thanks to Adelaide City's efforts, and another little dangerous moment for Playford there. Brissan slipping in, just showing how dangerous Adelaide City can be and how quickly they can put a dampener on your afternoon.
And that is the halftime whistle here at Ramsey Park. 2-1 at the break of Adelaide City. But as a quick roundup of the first half, Simon, fairly entertained.
Yeah, really entertained. Of course, after Adelaide City scored in the 7th minute, it was up to Playford to respond. But got all the way to the 39th minute looking quite dangerous. Sorry, 38th. when Isak Simovic found the second for Adelaide City, but responded quickly in the 39th to make sure things are within reach into the halftime break.
Absolutely. Halftime of this first leg between these two sides. First versus fourth across these two legs here at Ramsay Park. We'll be back soon for the second half. Do not go anywhere, but halftime score here is Playford City 1, Adelaide City 2.
First touches, first goals, first big moments. This is where football comes back to being football. Fast, technical, unpredictable, and always fun. Football Fives is built for players who still love the game, but play it their way. More touches, more movement, more moments that actually matter. Whether you're fitness, chasing wins, or just chasing that feeling of playing again, this is where your game fits. Different divisions, different levels, one shared love of football. Football Fives, football that works around life, not the other way around.
Introducing Carl's Jr. Star Boxes for taste and value that's out of this world. Choose a tasty ranch, original, Santa Fe or barbecue double cheeseburger and grab a small fries, all for only $6.95. Carl's Jr. Eat like you mean it.
I just want to make an impact.
Hop in.
Where are we going?
There are so many career paths with SAPOL, from operations to CSI. You could walk the beat or work somewhere a little quieter. If you want to make a difference, there's a career at SAPOL for you.
Hey, it's going to be all right.
Call up the search.
Find where you belong in blue. Search SAPOL Careers.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
At ServiceFM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need ServiceFM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
Ivanic hits it, and what a hit it is, and that makes it 4-1. Ivanic unleashes with his left. But he's through on goal, he's struggled to the far side. An Olympic have broken the deadlock. It's Mincing Park, threads it through. Satira's there, he's got a first chance at it, blocked, second chance at it. Great stop there by Oxenham, it's broken to Molas. And that's a fine goal to open the scoring for Arby Molas. Now, just outside the box, faces Van der Hout, he's with his left. Swings a shot in, oh that's a cracker. Passing it, John scores a banger.
For an injury on the weekend, our walk-in sports injury clinic is open Saturdays and Sundays to support you. Located ground floor, Calvary Adelaide Hospital, Wakefield Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic is keeping you moving.
I love refereeing because it's a challenge, you know, to go out to try and get the right decision, manage some of the egos or the personalities, knowing that you've got all these different types of people at play. And it's actually been a good life school as well. I started refereeing junior games on the Sunday. I was playing in senior football on the Saturday, so I felt like, you know, making some money. I think I was a decent player back then. You know, I could have stayed around and played senior football in NPL, but I decided to go refereeing, and I've got in the National League much quicker than if I was as a player. Probably wouldn't have made it as a player, to be honest. Just kind of never looked back and was happy to progress. But I think people should try refereeing. I think it's a great tool to realise, you know, how you can also contribute to part of the game. There's pathways. Definitely it can be a rewarding career.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings. Tom Wren for sport. Jade Robran on the scene as it happens. Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. Fixed price turnkey. It's got to be HPG.
We are unbelievably proud to announce today a partnership with Variety, the children's charity, which will result in a scholarship fund for children within the state who are in need of help to participate in the game. The total amount of the fund is going to be $100,000, which is a significant amount, but it's going to support young children access football in the state.
One of the many trademarks that Variety has really is about inclusion and joy and community. And this scholarship partnership speaks to all of that. It allows children to be involved. It allows children from a community program to be involved across all communities. And above all, will provide them with a great sense of joy.
There'll be 3 tiers of scholarships. One of those is a participation scholarship up to $2,000. There will be 2 grants provided for pathway program players up to $5,000, and Tier 3 will be an inclusion scholarship between $500 and $1,000 to support young kids under the age of 18 whose families need support to access the game. We think it's a really important project that we've been working on for a period of time. Variety are an amazing charity. They provide so much support to the local community. The partnership's been made with Variety and Football South Australia contributing equally to the fund to the tune of a total amount of $100,000. We think it's an exciting development for the game in the state, and it's with great pride that we announce that today.
This is where it starts. First touches, first goals, first big moments. Where confidence grows, where skills get sharper, where friends become teammates, and teammates become mates for life. Football Fives is fast, it's fun, and it's built for players who just want to play. More touches, more chances, more moments to try, learn, and go again. Here, every player is part of the game. Every pass matters. Every goal feels big. Whether you're starting out, building confidence, or just love being on the ball, Football Fives is your game. Football Fives. Play more, learn faster, love the game.
Welcome back for this second half here at Ramsey Park between Playford City and Adelaide City. The away side 2-1 up at the break. But still plenty to play for in the second half. I'm Seb O'Neill, joined alongside Simon Jimenez, and I can only really say we're probably just hoping for a bit more of the same, Simon, after that first half. We got goals which we perhaps didn't expect initially, but it's been good.
Yeah, we just had the perfect little halftime break, didn't we? We digested what a exciting first half that was, and I digested some really nice food from the canteen. So thank you to the folks at Playford for looking after us, and thank you to these two teams for bringing the entertainment in the first 45.
Yeah, me, you, and our cameraman Chris have been well fed this afternoon. We're very appreciative of it.
As we always are here.
No changes either have spotted initially for either side at half-time. Adelaide City with the goal advantage, only thanks to Christos Penendes getting one back immediately after their second goal, and that's well won back by Dan Ryan. Has Penendis in front of him, but decides to go on his own against Oliver Weston with a few touches, but they weren't nice enough to get past the 21-year-old left back.
Almost a little bit too easy for Oliver Weston at that point.
Hall, his clearance only finding Cameron Harris. Penendis trying to turn against Jared Abichu, but unable to. This is Cameron Harris's 12th match of this season. Only played the 6 senior matches for the Adelaide United youth team last year, 2 of them being starts. This is his 7th start from 12. As Katano goes down there, no foul against the Japanese striker, and that one's cleared into the main stand. Throw-in, didn't go to another player in a black shirt. One back by Xavier Pratt against Oliver Weston. Ryan unable to get past O'Neill. Another who joined from the Adelaide United's youth team, but did so halfway through the season. Played 5 matches for the youth team, started 4 of them, and then since joining Adelaide City has started now all 8 matches moving across. Here's Dan Ryan. Back to Xavier Pratt. The former Gold Coast United and Wellington Phoenix player. Here's Xavier Pratt. Ball switch to Kasumovic. Now Costanzo outside of the boot, ball towards Laurie Latanzio, looking for a second. Only finds the side netting. West Adelaide in the WNPL 1-0 up just after half-time against West Torrens Burkalla, and Adelaide Croatia Raiders 2-0 up in the 55th minute there at Martin Sports Complex in their first leg of their State League 1 semi-final, which is good news for the Modbury Jets. And even mentioned it at half-time, it might, as it stands, be looking like the 2 sides that went down last year from the NPL might be coming straight back up, or at least one is definite in Adelaide Croatia Raiders, but Modbury with that 4-0 lead last night looking to be so.
Yeah, well, Modbury certainly gave themselves the best possible chance to do that by getting that big 4-0 win at home, and just a really nice performance from them too. So it's good to see that after a season in State League 1 with a lot of players being lost as well, that they should still be able to have a good starting point if they do go up to NPL. Of course, for Raiders, though, they already start that process of getting ready for another year at the top.
Sad Kasumovic has stayed down after that challenge, bringing on the trainer. This is the RA NPLSA Final Series presented by ServiceFM, our official presenting partner of the Final Series. And chat to a local who backs you and your team. It's better to be a member with RAA.
Kasumovic looks like it's his left groin that's getting a little bit of work. Curtis Wadsworth just strolling over to have a bit of a look as he gets helped up now.
Another update, there's an equaliser for West Torrens Burkalla against West Adelaide in that WNPL preliminary final. The action heating up at ServiceFM Stadium, the exact same pitch in which one of those 2 sides will be playing next Friday as well in the grand final. As will one of these 2 sides, of course, as well, we see today be playing at ServiceFM in 3 weeks' time against either one of Metro Stars or West Torrens Burkalla. As Asad Kasumovic yet to make his way back to his feet. That looked like an okay.
Just looking at the bench for Adelaide City, Francesco Scamitzi is warming up at the moment, so...
And Kasumovic seemingly just walking it off.
Well, he's walking it off a little bit gingerly at the moment. He's taking his time. All the coaches and assistants for Adelaide City are just next to each other having a quick chat. Still trying to hop it off at the moment. Kasumovic, I imagine at the moment they're not quite decided yet whether he'll continue or not.
We resume with the drop ball. Asad Kasumovic does make his way back on to the field of play, and I guess just seeing how he goes for the next few minutes, whether or not they do need to make a change. We saw Biegrad forced into 2 last week, both through concussion with Andoni Natsiopoulos and Cooper Nunn. So we don't want to see any more forced changes here at this venue. As forward in comes Corbo, up in the nosebleeds there. Hasn't scored since 2024 when he was with Adelaide Croatia Raiders in a 2-2 draw against Adelaide Comets.
He was getting a little bit of attention from the crowd a moment ago.
So sharing a laugh with Cameron Harris as well.
I wonder if that's why he needed to have a bit of a run and see if he could produce something.
Fernandez winning an aerial battle there. A stat in which he leads the league in terms of per match winning those headed balls up front. That will roll out for the throw. Playford, of their 42 goals during the regular season, they've scored 28 in the second half. Adelaide City, from their 44, have scored 19. So this second half, a more fruitful period for Playford City. They've both conceded the majority of their goals as well in second halves too. So again, going off stats, this second half could have more in store for both of these two sides. Costanzo just launching it towards Kasumovic, getting a first real run into his legs since having to come off not too many moments ago. That's well done by Harris.
Just noticed a little bit of wincing on the face of Asad Kasumovic. I think he's still feeling some after effects.
McGregor overruns his own ball, finds Mullen in the centre. First time Penendez trying to flick it on, claims of a handball, but very quickly waved away by Curtis Wordsworth in his 432nd match of senior refereeing. Maybe a better start to the second half than the first for Playford, Simon.
Possibly,
for the moment, sorry, as Asad Kasumovic and now Karachia goes on the turn. Kitano goes first time out wide. Offside flag does go up.
Yeah, I think a little bit hard to gauge at this stage how they've come out. Of course, things were quite even up until Adelaide City found the back of the net in just the 7th minute in the first half, so maybe a little bit too early to say, but given the stats that you said earlier, the fact that Playford are possibly the more likely, based on previous performances this season, to score late, they are primed, but getting the job done another thing, and as they do need to be aggressive, it does just open up opportunities for Adelaide City to capitalise on the counter-attack.
Good to see as well. We've seen a few of the A-League players come to watch this afternoon. Ethan Cox and Harry Crawford in attendance from the A-League side. Of course, still the other fixture later on tonight at 7 p.m. between Metro Stars and West Torrens Burkalla.
Looking forward to that one. We're going to go spectate while David Grant, and I think he's got Theo Milonis on the co-coms tonight.
Yeah. Should be great to go to at that venue. Latanzio finds Kasumovic far too easily out wide as he has the shot on goal, and Schoen, who, just as Luke Osby tends to do, opts for the cap in the second half. Luke by name and Luke by nature, clearly.
Well, I think the common thread there is looking into the sun for the second half. And I think maybe he was affected there because the ball did just bobble out of his grasp there. John Hall doesn't mind the cap either.
Yeah, he's too now, sporting it.
He did have it in the first half too, but I think, again, the mid-afternoon fixtures seems to be a common thing for Adelaide City. So, or maybe he just likes the way it looks. That's possible as well.
Look good, play good. Ryan. Back with Harvey. He tries to use his ball to cut through the centre. Ryan's cross. Looking for Penendis. It goes over him as Asad Kasimovic now having to do some defensive work against Cameron Harris. Harris the one committing the foul in the end.
Meanwhile, I've been keeping a close eye on Asad Kasimovic just to see how he recovered after going down. Probably about 5 minutes ago now. He seems to be okay now. Initially, like maybe a little bit of discomfort. But he seems to be okay now. He was called into action earlier. One stage when he made a run and then he tried to win the ball back high, and he seemed to be absolutely fine there. And he's running as normal at the moment, which is good news for him.
Even with the possible change looming of Francesco Scamizzi, who Playford won't like the sight of course, after that round 21 match where he scored in the last 10 minutes to help Adelaide City on their way to the premiership. It was that night as well. They could have actually won the title if results at Bacala went their way. Had to wait that one extra week. But it was a crucial goal which ended up being a massive part of them securing the first position over West Torrens Bacala and leaving us with this fixture today.
He's been an effective late change, Scamizzi, since he's come across to Adelaide City. I think he had a tough year at Modbury last year. I think there was times where he looked quite alone right up front for them, and I don't think he was given as much opportunity as he would have liked. But a bit of a different role here at Adelaide City.
Caraccia, now the flick back from Laurie Latanzio, a first-time ball in from Weston. That will roll out for the throw. First ever meeting between these two sides back in April of 1967. Round one where then called Juventus beat then called Adelaide City 4-0 at Olympic Sports Field. Just less than 60 years later. Foul there and free kick for Playford. And of course Adelaide City having the week off last week, but they did play a tune-up game, if you to call it that, against Modbury Jets, who themselves had the week off. 3-2 winners. They were, on paper, it looked like a pretty entertaining game. Giorgio Parhas, Alex Battistella putting them up 2-0 before Chegwin and Bartovsky for Modbury, until Dom Costanzo scoring within the last 3 minutes to end that friendly last Friday. Penendis trying to put it in over the top as Braden French once again putting in the hard work.
On the topic of that friendly last week, obviously we were talking about that during the Modbury game last week, and I do know that they went into that game with 25 players on the team sheet, so they seem well rested and well rotated. And
apologies, someone's got a speaker and enjoying playing the airport.
I just glanced at you. You're struggling to keep a straight face, so it's better we address that.
I'll let you continue on with that in a moment as Adelaide City now go forward on an attack. Costanzo for Kasimovic again. Gets a slight push, does go down, and I think it's a free kick. Well, he's lucky he didn't do that push a second or so later, because it would have been in the box if so.
Yeah, you're talking inches. So I just finished chuckling off that the notion of the air horn. Felt like we were listening to a hip-hop mixtape in the early 2000s, right around the time you were born, Seb. You wouldn't know that.
I'm mid 2000s. 2006 it would be. It's mid to late. Not even that.
That's what used to happen before you were born.
There we go.
Right on cue.
Yeah.
God, imagine how it's going to sound if someone scores.
Yeah, go on.
Wow.
Just adds to the atmosphere. That's all you got to think of it as. Here's this free kick. Costanzo going for the near post. Only finding the side netting instead, but not a bad idea from Costanzo. Luke Schoen might have had it covered anyway. He's a bit lazy. It's not even a real air horn. It's just the sound.
Just going through a speaker.
Yeah.
But, you know, who says Australia doesn't have the same fan culture as overseas?
Yeah. Instead of buying the cheap $5 air horn, you bring the $2,000 speaker and play the sounds out of that instead. Kasumovic. Mullen. Now French. Are they moving to us? They're giving somebody away for this direction.
That's it. That's the last time we mention it for that.
Free kick. I'm not even letting it play out. What am I supposed to do? How do they approach this set piece?
It's the usual suspects over the top of it, and Kasumovic and Costanzo. As Brissan goes to join the pack just on the edge of the 18-yard box. Actually, looks like Kasumovic has gone to join him as well, so it'll be Costanzo.
Third would be big in the first leg if they're able to get it. That's floated into the back post. Just enough towards Jared Abichu. Right at the byline, putting the cross in. Kept in play and launched forward. Only Dan Ryan is up there for Playford. Corbo having to chase this one back down, and he'll take no chances against Dan Ryan and clear it out for the Playford throw.
Hopefully the air horn crew will make themselves useful now and retrieve that spare ball.
No, they're occupied. Can't even actually find a ball at the moment. But there are changes incoming for the home side. I think it's Chota Babasaki and Santiago Tabares to come on, and it will be Patrick McGregor and Dan Ryan, both to come off.
Skamitsi's just removed the vest as well, and looks like another player's just getting ready to... No, just gone back to the bench, so one change upcoming for Adelaide City too. Looks like that'll possibly wait to the next break in play.
Two of their three foreign players are Tabares and Babasaki alongside for now with the ball Xavier Pratt. Two forwards, but at least for Tabares, he's not been in too much of goal-scoring form, just the 2 goals and 2 assists. Shota Babasaki started the season on fire in those first few rounds, but his last league goal coming in round 5 against FK Beograd, and then his last goal full stop coming in the Cup the week after against Sturt Lions.
It was really strange, his run of form, because that's something I've certainly said offline. Had a real tear of a start to the year, then just stopped scoring. On the topic of Santiago Tabares, used a little bit differently this year, mainly off the bench, so he's rapid, he's got pace, he's got skill, so and creativity too, so maybe that can be employed.
Interestingly enough, Adelaide City, that change was for Laurie Latanzio, not Asar Kasumovic, and Laurie Latanzio heading straight down the tunnel, which I don't think you actually caught, Simon. He headed right down. So interesting there. Didn't seem, at least compared to Asad Kasumovic, seemed to be in that much of pain or trouble. And we were probably expecting Asad Kasumovic to be the one to come off there as well. But it is Laurie Latanzio. Good use of the body there. Actually, it's Truscott who has come on for Playford alongside Tabares. The former Elizabeth Downs player. Referee Curtis Wordsworth just giving that little bit of the hurry up. Headed away. Penendis. Down for Mullen, who initially misses the header. Back out for a throw. Another update in the WNPL preliminary final. West Adelaide finding another goal to go 2-1 in front of West Torrens Burkalla in that match. They've got just less than 20 minutes left in that one for West Adelaide to try and hold on to make a grand final, or for Burkalla to try and find one back in that cup final rematch there. It is interesting, the approach of a two-legged match. You know, Playford down 2-1 for the moment, City 2-1 up with about 20 minutes left to go, knowing there's still a whole match of football left. There's so many ways you could really go about it. When you look towards this second leg, you can theoretically, Playford, if they really wanted to, could hold off at this one-goal loss, if we're calling it that at the moment, and go into the second leg as an option. But it is just the many equations which come with a two-legged matchup.
Yeah, you're right with that. You know, I was sort of thinking about at half-time, do you approach it match by match? Maybe I'll come back to that. No, we can continue the thought for now, but yeah, do you approach it match by match, or do you take it as a whole, as if it's one 3-hour match? But I think on the side of Playford, you're playing at home against your home crowd today, so I think you really do want to get the win at home. You want to at least get into that away leg on even terms. So I think from their side, I think you do have to treat it as a bit of a standalone. But
Tabares.
Just to add to that point, though, whether it is a draw at home for Playford City or it ends up being a one-goal deficit, I guess the challenge doesn't really change once you go away too. You've still got to produce a result away from home for the second leg. So, yeah, I don't know. I think you can look at it both ways at the moment, but if I was Playford at this point in time, they've had some good momentum during this game as well. I think Adelaide City have been able to wrestle it back a little bit in this second half, but you know, I think you also want to capitalise that, because I think overall they had a pretty good first half, no matter how the scoreboard looked.
Kasumovic was in for Catano. Will be a corner. Adelaide City, of course, along with a very exciting Australian Championship on the horizon. Still yet to know who they'll be facing in their group. But very exciting time for the club nonetheless, as this corner goes short to the edge of the box. Costanzo finds Kasumovic, who was offside, but Costanzo completely free on that set piece to hit on the edge of the box.
Speaking of Costanzo, and speaking of the Australian Championship, he was one of the players involved last year, but in different colours, representing a different state after finishing a really successful year with Marconi. He opted to switch teams for the Australian Championship campaign and went to Apia, so both those teams took part in that. And of course, he's now with his third team in 12 months, getting ready for another Australian Championship campaign. I think we don't know the fixtures yet, but last year it was
one
top team from
WA.
Adelaide, top team from WA, and 2 of the foundation clubs.
From Vic and New South Wales? Or?
Both New South Wales.
Yeah.
So it was Apia and Sydney United. So I'd imagine that at the very least you got 2 foundation clubs, which is quite a thought, because among those teams you've got the likes of Marconi. Imagine Marconi, Adelaide City, revival of that old derby, the possibility of South Melbourne of 2, Sydney Olympic in the mix. So who knows? We're eagerly awaiting the announcement of those fixtures.
Just saw some changes made for both sides. Jackson Kurtz coming on in place of Cameron Harris at fullback. Nicholas Bucco coming on as well for Adelaide City, and also taking the armbands. Here is the substitute Kurtz with a loose first touch, but then a great challenge from Yared Abichu. Skamitsi, that other change for Adelaide City coming on. So seemingly Asad Kasumovic all good after that initial worry, with him staying down for a decent period of time. And there he is with the ball there, trying to find Francesco Skamitsi. Kasumovic again, surrounded and taken down unfairly by the Colombian. Going quickly with it. Just less than 20 minutes left here at Ramsey Park. Their last home game of the season course here for Playford. A ground which a lot of teams aren't big fans of having to come to, whether that being due to the crowd or the distance. There's a flashpoint here. And just a challenge coming in from Karachia. Isaac Mullen was the first in to have a word. Referee Curtis Wordsworth now just sorting it all out now.
So he's just shown the yellow card.
There's the challenge on Bailey Truscott, earning him that. Makes it only the second booking of the match. 2 of the most foul committing sides in the league as well. Playford in second, Adelaide City in 4th. Last week we had 1st and 2nd in Beergrad and Playford in terms of fouls committed.
So what you're saying, it's been a tame affair so far?
Yeah.
We lost count of the yellow cards last night at Adelaide Olympic when they hosted Mobry. I think we got up to about 6-7 by the end.
Corbo. Weston, it's a hard knock on him from Xavier Pratt. Wordsworth, our referee, plays advantage. Bucco trying to see what he can create in these last minutes of this one. Kasumovic with a header back across goal, but resulting in just the goal kick for Playford.
It's been interesting watching the sub in Nick Bucco having a bit of a different role this year. I know there was a couple of rounds of travel mid-year and coming off the bench late in this fixture, so we know how experienced he is. And given his age, you've got to wonder as well, how much longer is the Adelaide City captain going to play on for?
8 starts and 8 matches off the bench for Nicholas Bucco this season. Across 16 matches now, including today. Got his 4th premiership this year, chasing a... So got his 3rd premiership, chasing a 3rd championship as well. Bucco, former Adelaide Blue Eagles player as well, still currently playing against Adelaide Croatia Raiders and 2-0 down at home.
We're not trying to push him out the door either, just to be clear.
His day job is the complete opposite. Tries to push you in through the doors to save the house. Challenge missed there. Skamitsi trying to win it against Pratt. Now Jackson Kurtz. 16 matches, hasn't started any in the first team, Jackson Kurtz, this season. Exclusively as a replacement off the bench. Former junior of Barossa United. Has been at this club for 7 years now. Over 150 matches in the first team. Boko going down against Tabares. That one will bounce back to John Hall. Whistle blown there and a free kick. So Playford still with either one of Babasaki or Pishinari to use off the bench. Adelaide City with Lynch, Parhas or Battistella as choices. Foul there in Playford's favour, much to the pleasure of this home crowd.
The Playford crowd might have been getting a little bit restless for a second there. The momentum of this game has been stifled a little bit, and yellow cards just been shown, but I'm not sure who.
Bucco, maybe? I think so. I think it might have been Nicholas Bucco that's been booked just then.
It was in his direction.
I think it's a safe bet.
What does that mean? Sorry, I caught you off guard there. He's known to try to get the final say at times.
May have been what I was implying. I'm sure he won't mind us saying that.
No, he'll probably be the first to admit it.
This ball comes in. It's cleared away, though. It's a poor initial attempt at a set piece. Truscott putting the ball back in forward. That's a late one in there. And it will be a booking. Just getting that all wrong there.
What was the stat you said earlier about the yellow cards that these teams usually concede? They seem to be flying at the moment, but that was a big, maybe slightly reckless challenge there in the end.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that as well. So the stat was that the two of the most foul-committing teams in the league, but Playford only sits 7th for yellow cards, and Adelaide City in 5th.
Right.
So they're committing a lot of fouls, but they're not enough of fouls to get booked all the time. That one there, though, certainly the case as we have the final 10 minutes to play in front of us here in this first leg of this 90, as it looks like Playford are about to bring on Shota Babasaki as a late forward change. You'd think possibly for Penendus. And it will be the two nationals to go up front with the Japanese and the Colombian. Only the one foreign player for Adelaide City being Yuki Kitano, a largely Australian and South Australian team as well. At that, Playford with the 3 in Babasaki, Tabares and Pratt. As there's just a bit of pushing and shoving in the box, which our referee will quickly just talk through with our two sides.
He's had his hands a lot more full during the second half, hasn't he, Curtis Wordsworth? This game's just become a little bit stop-start.
Buko's corner. It's a nice one. Header back out by Mullen, and for a second consecutive corner. I think both sides probably know as well, whatever the next goal is, whichever way that comes is pretty crucial in this tie. Whether that be in this next 10 minutes or in the 90 minutes next week. Buko's cross, nearly resulting in a shot, to be honest. That'll be cleared long ways. Sabares to chase it down against Weston. Sabares with the footwork to get past Oliver Weston, trying to find Isaac Mullen. Unable to do so. Cleared out for the throw.
Yeah, you called it there. The next goal can be absolutely critical. It will decide whether Adelaide City go into this second leg 2-0 up with the home leg ahead of them, or potential for Playford to even things up and have it all to play for in the final 90, or more if required.
French and Pratt both coming off there for Playford. And oncoming is Babasaki. As that one's kept in play, needs a tap in front of goals! But the flag goes up. Sabares offside. Or was it Penendez who was offside? I think it was Penendez initially. Retrieving the ball from the throw, but you can't be offside on a throw. Because the ball's coming from the throw for Penendez. Sabares certainly not offside. But the goal has been ruled out.
Not too sure, Seb. You're looking at me for answers on that one. I haven't quite got it. I'm seeing what you're seeing. It seems from here that the throw came in, went directly to Penendez, who was in the offside position, and they haven't commenced play yet.
Unless it's the touch off of... But even then, if it's a touch off, I think it's Karachia, we're just seeing on our screen here. If it comes off the defender, is he not still onside? I'm not too sure with that one. Nonetheless, it is still 2-1 Adelaide City. And play will restart.
Yeah, I think this might be a talking point for full time.
With a goal kick.
Well, I'm definitely keen to find out the reasoning behind that one. But, yeah, as you said, regardless, the scoreline remains 2-1 the way of the visitors.
Six minutes left.
Well, we mentioned during the first half there was that game back here, the first meeting during last year that ended up 4-3 the way of Adelaide City. That had 2 goals after 90. We've had a little bit of, we thought for a second there that there was that equaliser. After that, and if it is a bit of a contentious situation, we may see some really late entertainment here at Ramsey Park.
Well, in the last half an hour of football in Playford's case, of their 42 goals, 20 of them this season in the regular season have come in the last half an hour of a match. 10 of them, of the 42, have come in the last 15 minutes alone. Adelaide City, alternatively, in the last 15 minutes of a match all season, 1 goal conceded.
We mentioned the sub as well, Shota Babasaki, so before him coming on, we theorised that it might have been Penendez that made way, but he's on there at the moment too, so trying to throw their attacking might at this for the fast little bit of Playford.
The home crowd still trying to produce some noise to get back an equaliser, in which they thought they had moments ago. Luke Schoen's goal kick. In the State League 2 first leg semi-final at Martin Sports Complex, Croatia Raiders have gone up 3-0 against Adelaide Blue Eagles. So already those 2 first legs in State League 1 looking severely one-sided heading into the second next week.
Well, you said before too,
that's potentially good news for Modbury, given they've given themselves such a leg up. And if they do meet Raiders, given that they've already secured promotion in the grand final, that means it'll be the same two teams that went down going straight back up.
Costanzo. Well done by Woolard to get his leg in the way there and get enough of a clearance. That one is in added time there. Also, it looks like Blue Eagles had a red card as well just before, or just on the hour mark. So, Croatia Raiders been against 10 in the WNPL. They're an additional time of that preliminary final. West Adelaide still leading 2-1, and it perhaps will be first versus second in the WNPL Grand Final next Friday. If we don't get any more goal updates from the West Torrens Berkal. If not, they head to extra time there.
Couldn't be too often that we're saying that 2 weeks ahead of the grand final. The grand final result, rather.
Kurtz comes off him for a City throw. That would have only been Tabarez's third goal of the season. His previous being a double against Para Hills in that 8-1 here earlier in the season, as City now have a player down with injury, but Western now back up to his feet fairly quickly.
That was interesting that there, because if you recall, in the first half, Oliver Weston got his caution for wasting time.
Yes.
On that occasion.
Maybe just remembering.
Curtis Wadsworth gestured for the trainer to come on pretty quickly. Then it seemed like Vas Parhas intervened. Oliver Weston got to his feet very, very quickly. So I can connect some dots on what that conversation probably was.
Less than 120 seconds left of the first leg. Positives for both sides, I guess. Adelaide City still looking sharp after a week off. For Playford, the key one is knowing that they can penetrate John Hall's goal, unlike many others this season, including themselves. Babasaki with the footwork here on the left wing. He wins the corner. And again, it's crucial heading into a second leg at a venue such as Adelaide City Park, in which the home side are so impenetrable. Willard. Here's crossed into the centre. It was missed by all, just about. John Hall had his bearings all wrong. Mullen, really, if he had that header more goalwards, it would have been in. John Hall making a very rare mistake in his judgment to come out for that one.
I'm a little bit stunned that they didn't somehow just appear in the back of their net there. It seemed to just glance across everyone, almost like it could have very easily caught an accidental touch.
John Hall, I think, just caught in two minds. He came out for the ball, went to reach for it, but it was behind him by the time it was coming in as well.
Yeah, was there maybe a little bit of a slip in there as well? He was very uncharacteristically muddled up, possibly with the sun in his eyes as well in that instance, but regardless, they get away unscathed for now.
The last few moments here at Ramsay Park for season 2026. They'll head away to Adelaide City next week in the second leg. Adelaide City themselves, of course, the last home match of the NPL season next week against Playford. That game being played at 7 p.m. next Saturday night. Do not miss out. If it's much to go on by this leg, there should be plenty much more in store for the second.
The kickoffs are going to be the same time next week too, which is interesting. Does mean you got to choose one or the other unless you're watching with split screens or you're at a ground watching it on your tablet or phone. But it does mean that either team is only going to find out on the night who their opponent is going to be. So that's another interesting little dimension there.
Full time between Adelaide Croatia Raiders and Blue Eagles. They go 3-0 away from home into the second leg at home. next weekend at the Croatian Sports Centre. Last few moments for either side to get one more in this fixture and create that bit more of intrigue for the second leg. Tavares wins it fairly, does the Colombian. Puts it back into the centre, looking for Penendez, falls to the edge of the box with Mullen. We've seen plenty of late drama at this venue before, including in the final series. Not to be in this specific instance. Into the 3rd minute of added time. Truscott. Header won by Playford Head. Still just hovering in the air. Coach Ben Moore playing ball boy. So put his side back in forward quickly. That one's been kept in play rather unorthodox. And nobody really able to keep firm control until now. Allgate. Launching it upfield. Slight push on Penendez, but nothing more to really warrant a foul. As Costanzo now on a run through against Bailey Truscott. Still gets on the end of his ball. And that's well defended by Playford. Skanitzi looming, but opting to launch it upfield. Full time in the WNPL match between West Adelaide and West Torrens Bocala, 2-1 to West Adelaide, which will mean we get a Salisbury Inter and West Adelaide grand final next Friday. Do not miss out on that one. Should be a great spectacle between those two sides on the Friday night. A night grand final in the WNPL we haven't had for quite a long time, to be honest. Will be good to have.
Looking forward to it. Nothing like doing it under lights, just for that little bit of extra theatre and excitement. Meanwhile, not to speak too early to the outcome of this fixture, we did say going into it was going to be a tricky one for Playford, given the fact that they've had the injury blows both to their keeper and to their middle centre-back as well in Tyson Harriman. So those two changes, we always thought it was going to make things a little bit difficult.
Penendez. It was a draw last time they met here in round 10 earlier this year. Looks like that record of not beating Adelaide City here at Ramsay Park will continue. Something they haven't done since July of 2003. And David Reynolds and Samuel Farkham scored the 2 goals in that 2-1 victory against City. Ball over the top here, which John Hall will come and collect easily enough. Throws it long upfield now with Alex Battistella. Another who joined the club midway through this season from Adelaide United. Yet to start, but has a tally of 4 goals, 2 of which came in round 3 against Adelaide City for the Adelaide United youth team. Club in which he made his senior debut for at 15 years of age, now 19 years old. Penendez winning another header. We play on here. We are in the 6th minute of added time. I wasn't too sure how much we were going to have added on, but seems like it has been some stoppage time. Babasaki up against Parhas with the Batman mask on, in which he was sporting in his first senior goal of round 22 against Beograd. Laid on there to more than secure the premiership for Adelaide City. Ball in the box, cleared away by Yared Abichu. Battistella. Allgate has that. Brings full time to the first leg. Half time of the 2 legs. Adelaide City with a 2-1 lead heading home next week.
Well, I'm excited for that outcome. A little bit of a boo of disapproval from the Playford crowd, but ultimately to go down so early for Playford to, well, even go 2-0 down just before the end of the half there, get it back swiftly. As we said before, two key players, one including their keeper, out, a man of Luke Hospey's experience, to come away from this first leg 2-1. I mean, it's not the result they would have wanted to achieve ideally, but it's very much game on for the second leg next week.
Yeah, that goal from Penendez, crucial in the tie. See the final stats there, 9 shots for Adelaide City, 6 for Playford, 3 on target, 2 for Playford. That's full-time here. We'll see you next week, Saturday night at Adelaide City Park for the second leg, but full-time score here at Ramsey Park. It's Playford City 1, Adelaide City 2 at half-time of the 2 legs.